All right. Hello, you two. Thank you both so much for being here with us today. As you know, and we'll share with everyone else, we're doing a brief recording from two of our program graduates who are also NBHWCs. Very recently found out that they passed their board exam, and we're going to talk through the exam process and the study process and anything that might be useful to current students who are wrapping up the program and getting ready to sit for or prepare for their exam. So are you two ready?
Yes, we are. Thanks
Yes,
for having us,
absolutely.
Kelsey.
You're so welcome. Thank you both for being here. All right, so the first question is, what tips can you share with students on building your 50 coaching sessions that are required after you complete the program or pass your PSA 3 before you are eligible to apply for and sit for the exam?
Okay, I'm happy to go first. Hi, I'm Vasanta, and all the very best to all the students who are going to be taking the exam. I know you can do it. So here are a few tips to help you on your way. So my suggestion would be to line up all your coachees, the people you're going to coach, well ahead of time. Know that some of them are going to drop out, so have a few extra. So you need a total of 50 sessions. I was mistaken. I thought they had to be 1 hour each, and I found out somewhere along the way they don't need to be an hour each. 20 to 30 minutes per session will count towards those 50 sessions. Know the PSA 3 date. Kelsey has printed that out on our certificates, so it's very easy to find. So just make sure that you know the appropriate date after which those sessions will count. Before that, nothing counts. So you want to make sure you get that. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I think our teachers do a great job training us to be great coaches. So I think those sessions will go really well.
Awesome.
And for me, my name is Mike Regan, and best to all of you. I wish you all the best success with this exam and becoming certified. With that said, I agree with everything that Vasantha said, and I think it's important to reiterate that it's best to start early. You know when your PSA 3 date is, so start forming relationships. And while we can't coach friends and family, we can coach friends of friends and family of family. And that's what I did. I went out to college roommates, and I don't know their children or their associates, and just said, look, I'm doing this for free and I need people to do it. And I had a boatload of people, and I liked having a lot of people. I had 12 or 13 clients so that I could accrue those hours pretty quickly. And that was important to me because I wanted to sit for the exam as close to my finish date with the program as I could so that I could retain the information. But otherwise, I agree with everything that Santha laid out as well.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mike. Just one other point. Since we cannot coach our own family and friends, what we can do is make a list and then swap those lists with a classmate, and you're set.
That's right.
But I
So-
agree with Mike, yes. Mhm.
Yes. So Mike could coach Vasantha's family and Vasantha could coach Mike's family.
Correct.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you both. Okay, the next question is, what did you find most useful or helpful in studying for the exam?
I'll take this one first, Vasantha. So I found my fellow classmates to be the most useful thing. And what we did was we had a study group once a week with anywhere between 2 and 5 of us. And that allowed us to hear the way other students were thinking and the way they dissected questions or the way they looked at approaching a problem. And so we had a nice, real variety of thoughts that we could learn from and rely on. And then secondly, what became really important, Vasantha and I ended up partnering up prior to the exam and studying every day for 30 days for 2 hours each night. And that allowed for, I think, more open communication and sort of mandatory participation in the group study, because Vasantha would take a question and read it to me, and I would give my answer, and then likewise with the next question. So we kept rotating. So each of us had to do some critical thinking on our own during the study group, as well as allowing her and the other students that were in the groups to share their ideas too. And to me, that was really helpful in learning.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
100% agree with that. I think our group study, which kind of dwindled to partner study over time, was absolutely critical to me passing. I mean, without a doubt. I think there is a sense of accountability, and there's also that sense of keeping the ball rolling. So if I got stuck on something, Mike would have a different take on it, because sometimes it's easy to get frustrated because I think a certain answer which was wrong should be the right answer, and it's like, why is this not the right answer? And then it's always helpful. Just to dig in a little bit there, we use the NBHWC study guide. I think that's very helpful to get a sense of what questions look like. I also got the NBHWC practice test. That's only 50 questions, although the real exam has 150 questions. There are other exams out there, and I don't get a commission for recommending any. So do your own research. There are some good ones. There is the one that I got. I don't want to name any, but it's written by an examiner. So the questioning, the question format was pretty similar. I found the questions were not the same, so that's not the issue. But it certainly helped because it was 150 questions. I timed myself just like, taking a real test, and I found that to be quite helpful. It's expensive, but I thought it was helpful.
Great, thank you both. And you both did already touch on this next question a little bit, but the question is, how much time do you recommend students spend studying for the exam? So one question that students commonly ask me is, how long should I give myself after the program to set for the exam date? And I think you both have very strong opinions on this that I tend to agree with. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on how long after you finish the program should you give yourself to study or prepare for sitting for the exam?
Yes.
Sorry, Mike,
Go
go ahead.
ahead, Sandra.
Okay, thank you. My intention was to take it as soon as possible while everything was fresh, because we were doing, pretty intensive work through the summer. We really started our review in the summer and continued it. So I didn't want to push it out any further till July or whatever. I think July is the upcoming one. So I definitely wanted the March exam. And I think that was really helpful. So things, the material that we learned in class is still kind of fresh, and we have worked hard enough. So it's going to be uppermost in our minds. Excuse me, sorry about that.
Sure. And so I want to say we finished our program in December with Mesa, maybe somewhere around the 10th or the 15th. I can't remember the date. And I think maybe we took Christmas and New Year's off those weeks from our study group, but that was it. And, come January 2nd or 3rd, we were right back into the weekly study group, as well as, we each put in time away from the study group to maybe read up on a chapter or two or page through some things and do our own studying. But like I mentioned before, 30 days prior to the exam, we went every day for 2 hours.
That's true.
So.
And so to answer the question, to circle back to your original question, it's more to do with consistency. I don't think this is a question, this is an exam rather where one can cram and pass. So yeah, I think that has to be pretty clear.
That's great advice. Thank you. Okay, really the last one is, what useful exam related information would you want to share with students? Now, this is more about the exam setting, what to expect, any tips or insights when you're going and preparing for the exam, mostly to reduce test taking anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Mike, you want to take that?
Sure. I follow this philosophy in everything I do in life. I don't like to be late. I don't like to have distractions. So I plan ahead. And getting to the test center, I think I got there 2 hours prior just to see the center, make sure that, traffic problems didn't interrupt me getting there on time, to feel a sense of calmness that I'm here now. I went and had lunch. I had a 12:30 start, so I had lunch prior. And during lunch, I was looking through some biometric information, just a couple of pages I had just to go through it. But at some point, it was really about relaxation for me. I'm here. I've done all the work I can. All the feedback I received from my teachers throughout the whole curriculum really built up a nice sense of confidence within myself. And so at the very end, it was just like, look, you've done all the work. You've done well. Here you are. Take a deep breath and enjoy what's ahead of you. So
Thanks.
yeah.
That's great advice.
I just wanted agree with everything Mike said, of course. A few more details about the testing process itself. So you need to know the customer identification number. That is sent as an email after you register and get all the paperwork done. And NBME or whoever, NBHWC, they send you this email, which I printed. You need to print it and take it to the testing center. Make sure you rewrite the customer identification number on a laminated card they give you. You're not allowed to take anything into the testing center, not even water. So you bring your water, you bring your snacks, they give you a locker, you put it in that locker. You're not allowed. So my experience was that I went in and I needed to put in the CIN number. And my first question was, what is a CIN number? And I just figured it would be on that sheet that I left with them outside. So I had to come out, find it, rewrite it on that. And they didn't tell me. So I think also it was to do with the lack of experience of the staff at my center. But, who knows which center anybody's going to go to. So it's important to know. So write it on that laminated sheet. That's one thing. No water will be provided. Your water will be outside. There is security in order to get to. So there's a lobby and then you get into the testing area proper. And that puts airport security to shame. So give yourself adequate time. They're going to check jackets. You have to remove glasses. They're going to examine glasses, check ankles and socks, and yeah, all of that. Dress in layers because it can be pretty cold. It could be warm outside, but the air conditioning can make you really cold. So dress in layers. You can, make yourself comfortable one way or the other. Make sure you take some protein bars or some snacks. You get 15 minutes in the middle. Make use of that. Before the exam starts, there is a tutorial for which you get 15 minutes in addition to the testing time. So it does not take away from the testing time. Use that time wisely. So what is the tutorial? It's about what the exam, the format of the exam and what that looks like. And something that I learned that was useful is that you can use your mouse to highlight parts of the question itself or to strike out parts of the question. And I use that quite liberally. So for example, if there's a question saying in the first session, coach so-and-so met this patient or the client. So, I was highlighting first session because then all the answers are relating to whether, it's appropriate for the first session or the last session or whatever you think needs to be highlighted or struck out. So I guess that's pretty much it. And of course, get there early. This whole security thing takes time. You don't want to be late for your test.
Great. Thank you both. I appreciate it. Before we go, anything else on any topic that you'd like to share with future students, graduates, that would be helpful for them?
Absolutely. I did miss a point and I had some points down. Know all current values by heart. I had, in fact, I removed all the Post-its. That was wallpapered. I cleaned it up for this session. But blood pressure values, make sure they're the current. I believe it's 2017 values. BMI, cholesterol, A1C, blood glucose, the my plate compared to the Harvard, the dietary, the nutrition guidelines. So know all those like in your sleep, so to speak, because at least if you know that part and you have that down, then some of the coaching questions which may be a little trickier, you give yourself a little slack on those.
Yeah. One feature that helped me out at the exam was you can flag a question that you don't want to answer at the moment. And so that was very helpful because, when taking tests, sometimes a question later in the test jogs our memory about a previous question that we can go back to and then feel more confident about the answer we give. So that was very helpful to me. I did that in the testing center has a really nice system where when you flag a question, you can flag 6 or 8 or however many questions. You can go back to just the flag questions with one click of the mouse, which takes you right to those questions that you haven't answered. You don't have to scroll through. So that was a really nice feature that helped me.
That's great.
And one of the study tips that many people were suggesting, and I kind of did it, I didn't do the whole thing, is called a brain dump. So when they give you that laminated sheet and some dry erase markers, even before the test starts, like maybe during your tutorial time or whatever, so put all those numbers down. So then when a question comes that's relevant, all you're doing is checking that sheet versus trying to remember in the stress of the moment.
Clever.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you both. This is such good information for future students and test takers. So before we wrap up, any last minute words of wisdom you want to share with students about anything program, exam, or coach related?
I think we have a fantastic program. I know everyone will do extremely well and pass on the first try, and I wish everyone all the very best.
All the best, guys, for sure. You're going to do great.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you,
All right.
Kelsey.
Thanks, Kelsey. Appreciate it.